On today's episode of Titus and Tate, we have a very special edition of the Fraud Power Rankings. And spoiler alert, Tate, the entire United States of America are number one. What the hell? We lost to Nigeria?
Yeah, this is the nightmare of Team USA fans. Again, the last time we did a podcast, I wore my Team USA sweatshirt. I said I was fired up for the Olympics. I was confused as to why America wasn't as fired up as I was, but they must have listened to Malcolm Gladwell and known that Team Nigeria was on the way.
I made the argument that one of the best things that can happen for international basketball in the United States of America is for the USA to lose. To show the average American that we are not head and shoulders better than everybody. We can't just show up and steamroll everybody like it's 1992. I take back every single word I said. This is not good. This is not good for us at all. In fact, I hate it very much. What the hell? We're gonna do our best to process all of that. Also going to talk about the NBA Finals. We should probably spend a little time on the NBA Finals. The Milwaukee Bucks won Game 3. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Finally.
Is playing out of his mind, Tate. It's hilarious the whiplash I'm getting from seeing people calling this series over. There's just going back and forth here.
I kind of blame it on the bubble a little bit. I think we all forgot that home court plays such a role in this. But like you said, after the first two games, I famously predicted that Bucks were going to win the series in 6. I had so many people come at me with such vitriol saying, what an idiot, Suns in 4, series is over. And all I kept thinking to myself was, do they know that Game 3 and Game 4 will be in Milwaukee? Turns out it was, and Giannis dominated like you said.
I don't think Suns fans think about tomorrow. I think they're just YOLOing it, and they're just like living in the here and now. That's all they care about.
It's kind of like Suns and 4 guy. He's got merch. I mean, just ride it out.
Suns and 4 guy is on peyote somewhere in the desert right now and has no idea that the series is not over. We're going to talk about both those things, maybe sprinkle in some odds and ends, basketball news and notes. We'll see where it goes. You guys know what the show is at this point. We're gonna get to all of it, but first,
Woody Durham.
Tate Frazier in absolute shambles. The United States lose to Nigeria. Not only does this, I was thinking about this because every time they would cut to Nigeria's bench, I would see Jahlil Okafor standing there.
Yes.
He never actually played, never got on the court at all. But he's on the Nigerian team. And by the way, as an aside, I just mentioning Jahlil Okafor's name, I think we're obligated to mention that Tyus Jones getting Jahlil Okafor and Justice Winslow to care about basketball. For those 3 weeks in March
was literally a revolution. You know what I mean? Like, I cannot believe that happened.
Unbelievable.
And Jahlil Okafor, like you said, I mean, this is probably the first time that a lot of Americans, like when they looked at the bench, they were like, the most famous player over there is Jahlil Okafor. You know what I mean?
No, he definitely was. Like, someone asked me who's on Nigeria, and I was like, I just got done watching the game. I just got done watching Gabe Vincent. Scored 21 points, and then someone asked, like, we lost to Nigeria, like, who's even on Nigeria? And I was like, guys like Jahlil Okafor. He didn't even play a second of the game.
It's like Michael Jabinajay and Jahlil Okafor, the two Duke defectors.
Okay. Well, that's what I was gonna say. Jason Tatum being on the USA helps with this argument that I'm making here, Tate. But this has got to be great for Duke in the sense that Jahlil Okafor is on Team Nigeria. They can pump that to the moon. Number two, the more important point is USA losing to Nigeria an inexcusable loss, no matter how you slice it, no matter how many times you say it's an exhibition or Nigeria is actually better than people realize and have a few NBA players, whatever. Completely inexcusable. Is this arguably one of the greatest thing that has happened to Coach K's legacy in the last 6 years since he won the 2015 title? Is this the best thing that's happened to his legacy? Is that USA is in shambles without him?
Yes, I think so, 100%. Because, like you said, I think America, we let it wash over us that we won 3 straight gold medals. And not only did we win, 2008, we had this amazing game. Kobe Bryant kind of seals it for us. 2012, we go to London. That was the watch out, we're unstoppable team, with Kobe, with LeBron, with KD. And then 2016, it was like a little bit of an afterthought, and I think a lot of people just assumed that we would win. But Greg Popovich, I mean, give him credit. Every time he gets around Team USA, we lose. You know what I mean? 2004, like, I know who to blame now. Everyone wanted to blame Larry Brown, and I never would blame Larry Brown because I know he's the best basketball coach on the planet because, again, he's the only coach to win an NBA and an NCAA title. So the math checks out. He's the best coach around. And I was trying to figure out where Greg Popovich fits in because if you ask, NBA Twitter, Greg Popovich is, anointed. He has never done wrong.
Yes.
He is by far the best coach in basketball. If you think anything else, Shea Serrano will tweet you to death. This is who Greg Popovich has been. But like we said, I mean, we sent the Boston Celtics to the World Games with Greg Popovich, which I kind of gave him, I was like, okay, it's fine, Pop. I'll let that slide. I blame the Celtics propaganda.
Who voted on that, by the way? That just feels like the NBA media came up with that idea to like basically send a bunch of Celtics and Greg Popovich. Like that's a marriage made on NBA Twitter, I think.
Yes.
By the NBA check marks.
I still am not sure how it happened other than, like you said, they assumed that Boston was going to become this title team, which, again, they made the Eastern Conference Finals in the bubble. Danny Ainge everything was pointing towards success there. But now Marcus Smart is on the trading block for, I'm sure, the number one pick. Because that's what he's valued at. But Popovich, I let him slide that time. But this game was the game that I immediately was like, Tim Duncan deserves all the credit. And that's where we are. And I think Greg Popovich, this is a great time for him to have a redemption arc because this is news. That was the thing. This was like led, First Take a little bit. Stephen A. Smith was going after Greg Popovich. So this is the first time I think Pop has had the media, like you said, turn against him a little bit. And I am upset as a Team USA fan, but I'm also now
as an American, you have to say it as an American. That carries more weight if you say not as a Team USA fan, but as an American, as a taxpayer.
Yes, yes.
What is
God?
How did we get here?
So many taxes.
How is that?
I don't know how we got here because if you look at the team, there's no way that Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, Bam Adebayo, Bradley Beal, Damian Lillard, Jeremy Grant, Draymond Green, Zach LaVine should lose.
Kevin Love for 3 minutes.
Yeah, you lose to KZ, you lose to Precious Achua, you lose to Gabe Vincent, you lose to Josh Okogie. And look, these guys are NBA players. I think the most damning photo I saw, Titus, after this game was Bam Adebayo went over to his Miami Heat teammates, KZ and Precious, and Gabe Vincent, of course, who really was the leader of this Nigerian team, and took a picture with them. As if he was gonna form. He was like, I should have formed a super team over here. Why am I with Team USA?
Dude, that's the reverse of what was the team that played the Dream Team and like wanted autographs and pictures with them after they played?
Exactly.
Wasn't that an African team? I thought no. Who? I'm gonna look that up.
Look that up. I can't remember, but exactly. That's what it looked like. It looked like Bam was, thinking to himself. Of course, Heat culture is going to lead the conversation there. People are just going to say he wants to be around his Heat teammates, but it did give the vibes of, man, I wish I could be with these guys. They look like they're having a lot of fun. And if you go down the Nigerian roster, for the people at home, we were talking about how, who's the most famous guy on the team. Like, they have familiar players, familiar names, like Chimezi Metu, USC, Epke Udo, guy, Jabinajay, obviously, Duke defector that goes to Syracuse. So they have guys, Okogie, played at Georgia Tech, played for the Timberwolves. So you recognize these players. But the block that Precious Achua had on Kevin Durant was really the one that, to me, I felt like we got punked as Team USA. And I don't know how that's even possible because, again, we are Team USA. We do not get punked. And then to add insult to injury, Precious puts up the post of him blocking Kevin Durant and puts in quotations, "You're really not that guy." That's our guy. That's our guy. We can't let this happen.
Yeah. Well, this is the problem with. By the way, I looked it up. Just from trying to do some quick Google. I don't know how great of my job.
Did Google fail us?
Kind of. I pulled up Cuba and Tunisia were the two. So Tunisia is African. So I think it might have been Tunisia that I was thinking of.
Tunisia. Yeah.
that one of the autographs with the Dream Team.
Yeah.
Or one of the pictures after the Dream Team kicked their ass. This is the problem with the way we watch the NBA, discuss the NBA, break down the NBA, and I'm talking about you and I, but also just fans in general of basketball, is that we have decided we like guys, hate other guys. It feels like every guy in the NBA, you feel something about. You feel every one of us watching, we feel something, right? And then we arrive at this point where you're watching Kevin Durant get stuffed by Nigeria, and every part of you as an American should be like, this sucks. But the small part of you that's like, I don't really mess with Kevin Durant. It's like,
you're kind of like, you kind of love Precious Achua, you know what I mean? Like,
and that's so messed up, dude. Because I don't want to cheer for Nigeria. I want to cheer for America, dude. I want to, but I don't know. Especially like we talked about it on the last show, like watching the Euro and just like watching Euro 2020, watching like all the, I felt reinvigorated at coming out of a time of coronavirus, Tate, that I don't know if patriotism is the word, but you feel like, so you're like, oh yeah, international events are fun where you get all these countries together. And I'm so excited for the Olympics coming up, not only for the basketball, but for the women's gymnastics team.
Yeah, Simone Biles
is one of my favorite Olympic events to watch. I'm excited for all of that. And I wanted to rally behind the United States basketball team, Tate, but I see Kevin Durant get stuffed, and I got to be honest, some small part of me is laughing.
Yeah, and I mean, look, and I'll keep going there, but you see Jason Tatum, play 27 minutes. I mean, I guess the most ironic part of it all is that, we have, like I said, I listed the American players. You're like, you got Dame Lillard, you got Bradley Beal, you got Jason Tatum, you got Kevin Durant, but they're all kind of ISO scorers, you know, and they all have a very defined way that they play the game. And to facilitate, you kind of are asking a Durant or a Dame to play a little bit outside of themselves. And in this game, you saw the recipe for like team basketball and what it can do, especially when the team makes, however, they made like, 33s in this game or something insane. So when you see a team shoot like that, but also play team basketball and move the basketball, it makes isolation basketball look even more abhorrent, you know what I mean? It's frustrating at some level, and I think that was also why why Kevin Durant in the first place went to the Warriors, right? He was playing ISO basketball in the Thunder. Was like, I am tired of this. This is a lot to put on myself. I'm going to go play team basketball over there. And that's what Nigeria did. They played team basketball and they beat a team of ISO scorers.
This is what 2004, this was it reminded me of 2004, not in that we lost, but how we lost because of what you just said, that there's that attitude, the arrogance almost of like, this type of basketball is bullshit. And if we can't succeed at it, then it says more about the type of basketball in the event than it does about us. So like like you said, like Bam Adebayo, take a bit. Listen, this isn't the end of the world. I don't think Bam Adebayo should be crying. I like he, like Luke May hits the shot and he's, I don't expect him to feel that for an exhibition game against Nigeria in Vegas. But you do want some small part of the team to understand that this you cannot take this for granted. There must be some sense of pride that goes into this. You cannot just show up. This was not a free ride to a gold medal, Tate. This was not like a Jerry Colangelo calls you. You answer the call and just say, "Sweet, here's my address. Here's what type of gold. Here's my neck size when they put the gold medal around me. Just go ahead and send it to me now. But yeah, I'll show up for No, there has to be some sort of pride, and I don't know. That's my fear. That's my worry. Is that I don't know. I'm sounding like an old man as I hear myself talk. But like, for God's sakes, like, how else do you? There's literally no excuse for this whatsoever. Even if like Durant and Tatum didn't play, it would still be inexcusable.
Yeah,
of
course.
Like it's not just like it's like you go down the list. Even the guys that they got Sadiq Bey played 5.5 minutes, and I understand
Darius Garland played. Yeah,
I understand that those guys aren't going to play in the Olympics. They're not going to be around when the new wave of guys come in. But still, it doesn't matter. I don't want to hear any of that. I don't want to hear that Devin Booker would have helped and Chris Smith. It doesn't matter. Look at the damn roster. So I got two fixes, Tate. I have a long-term fix for this and a short-term fix for this. The long-term fix, I have said this before, I will say it again, as USA misses the podium in the Olympics, I will be screaming it from the rooftops. Get rid of Popovich. Bring in the president himself, Brad Stevens. Pay him whatever he wants. Bring him home. I no longer want Stevens to IU. That's dead. Kill it. It's over. Mike Woodson is at IU. It's Stevens is a masshole. It is what it is. That's fine. He can be a masshole all he wants. But last time I checked, the state of Massachusetts is in the United States of America.
Yes.
So he's still an American.
Boston Tea Party, ever heard of it?
Yes. Make Brad Stevens the head coach of the United States national team. That is his full-time job. He is president of America basketball, and he compiles the roster as he sees fit. It's not the worst idea. It can't be the worst idea.
And guess what happens? Here comes the Boston Celtics of the 2019 World Celtics. Jaylen Brown,
plus
Jason
Gordon Hayward
Tatum,
and Shelvin Mack
and Terry
Ronald
Rozier.
Ronald Norred is no longer coaching. He's now back playing backup point guard for the United States team. There's that. The short-term fix is this, and this is radical, and people aren't going to like to hear me say this, but I'm not going to apologize for it because this is what needs to happen. And if you get in your feelings listening to me say this, enjoy not getting the gold medal at the Olympics because I'm trying to win the gold medal. So here's my idea. We kick all these guys off the team. Every single one of these guys on the roster. Get them off the roster. Bring in the U19 team. The Chet Holmgrens.
Yes.
The Jaden Ivies.
Yes.
The Peyton Watsons.
Yes. The Ken Lofton.
Get all those guys in here that just won gold against France. And you're saying to yourself, Titus, that makes no sense. These are all NBA players. Those guys are not NBA players. Are you out of your mind? And I would just like to point out, Tate, as a reminder to our listeners, the Dream Team, the greatest assemblage of talent basketball has ever seen, will ever see. The greatest team that has ever lived, lost one game. They lost one game, and that game was to a bunch of college players, Tate. It makes you think, are college basketball players better than NBA players? We learned that lesson in 1992. We have not applied that lesson at any point since then. Is now the time. Do we get rid of all these guys?
Yes.
Let Chet Holmgren and Peyton Watson and Jaden Ivey lead us to gold in Tokyo? I say yes.
I agree 100%. This is a great take. I'm over it. Because like you said, these guys, it's a secondary deal for them. You could tell the pride that the U19 team had. I will say this. Chet Holmgren, he has figured out how to, I couldn't believe he was the MVP. Right? If you watch those games, I was shocked that he was the one that got the MVP, but I like it. You know what I mean? I like that he's got that cachet of, if they won, he was the de facto face of that team. But Ken Lofton Jr., their big man, was really, it was like a very old school college basketball inside out, getting offensive rebounds. You know what I mean? It was a fun team to watch. And again, they're playing team basketball. They don't have to worry about their brands. They don't have to worry about all this other stuff that goes into it. So Brad Stevens, bring him
Brad
in.
Stevens and the boys. Get them together.
Yeah.
Brad Stevens had all of his success when he was coaching college kids, Tate.
Yes.
Get the college kids on the national team. Get
Defensive
Brad Stevens
slide
in.
drills. That's what we need. First day, chest passes, defensive slide drills, and then we get these kids rolling out there, and we win.
It's
That's
Norman Dale, just like everyone. You stand on the free throw lane, you look at each other, and you go down the court and back, just sliding left to right.
Thumbs out.
Thumbs out. As you're snapping the passes. I want to hear it pop. Lofton and Holmgren, by the way, reminded me of Steph and Durant, basically, in the sense of one is the heart and soul of the team, and one's the guy that as you're watching that game, you're like, I love this guy so much. He's so fun to watch.
Yeah.
But the other guy is technically the best player, so he's going to win all the awards, and you're like, all right, whatever.
I guess.
Give him the trophy. But can we talk more about this other guy?
Right. That's how I was so shocked because I watched some of the game, then I turned it off, and then I kind of checked back in, and then I saw the celebrations and stuff afterwards. And when they made the announcement, and I was like, oh, this is one, great job, great PR, great branding, whatever you want to say, Chet. You got it figured out. And two, I mean, it's Drew Timmy's team. That's what I took away. As I watched the U19 team, I know Chet Holmgren's going to be the face of Gonzaga. A lot of people are going to talk about, what he brings to Gonzaga and the brand, but it's Drew Timmy's team. And Drew Timmy, similar to Christian Laettner, who was a part of that team that upset the Dream Team. You know what I'm saying? So connecting all these dots here. Grant Hill was on that team as well, right? It was Grant Hill.
Well, Laettner was on the Dream Team.
Oh, but he played
You're
with the college.
Bobby Hurley was on the.
But I thought Laettner. I think Laettner played with the college team that beat. They wouldn't let him play with the Dream Team, so they let him play with the other team.
I know Weber was on the college team too.
Weber was. Yeah,
Weber was wrecking him. Yeah.
God, great times,
dude. People forget though. They beat
make the call up. I think you're right. I'm 100%. I'm in on both plays. Despite all of the haters that will say it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter about losing to Nigeria. I just think it would be amazing content to think about Greg Popovich or whoever. Grant Hill, I think, is in charge of Team USA right now. He is the USA basketball chairman. He took over for.
That's bad. That's good for you then. That's bad for Duke. Yeah. That's bad for Duke then. Yeah. To have Tatum and Grant Hill.
Yeah. Grant Hill calls Jason Tatum is like, you're not on the team anymore. You know what I mean? Like, film that. You want to talk about some behind the scenes content? I would love to see that. And then also you're getting replaced by Ken Lofton Jr., who is all heart, heart. Love him.
Kevin Durant. When the NBA playoffs are going on, it's very easy for you to look like a superhero when your two superstars are out and you're going toe-to-toe with the Bucks. But I can't get you to care one time against Nigeria. You're gone. Get out. Chet, you're in.
Yeah.
Go get him, Chet.
I bet Katie loves Chet, and I bet Chet loves Katie. They have to. Yeah, they're kind of like. I hope that Team USA just blows everybody out, but I will say I'm not as excited as I was because. Again, on paper, Team USA, you're kind of like, how does this team ever lose? But then when you were watching, it felt like a your turn, my turn, Dame's turn, Kevin's turn, Tatum's turn.
I think that back to my point about I think it's good if they lose. Obviously, I don't want them to lose, but I think long term, the interest in international basketball, it's good if America loses. Yeah. But we have to lose in a way where it feels like the other team is awesome. And not that we suck and we don't care. And the Nigeria game was definitely a case of we suck and we don't care.
Yeah.
And that's just frustrating. And then you start getting mad at the players that are playing. You start getting mad at the players that aren't playing. Where the hell is LeBron? Why is he not here? We don't care how many times he won.
I saw people tweeting at Steph Curry and LeBron, like, please come help us. And I'm sure both of them are
your fault.
It's great for them. They're sitting at home. They're like, okay, great.
Oh, interesting.
Hate to see it.
It's very interesting. By the way, shout out to our guy Dakota Mathias, who was on the bench for this game too. He didn't get in, but neither did Jaleel Okafor. So congrats, Dakota. I saw him when they cut the USA bench. Maybe that's what they need, dude. Maybe shake it up. Throw John Jenkins in the game. Throw Dakota Mathias in the game. These guys that
I was a little confused also because I've been watching the practice tapes and Tyler Hero is with the select team that they brought in to play against the first team. So I thought Tyler Hero would be on the bench, and I feel like he actually may have been good, you know what I mean? Because I think if Tyler Hero came into the game and started making threes, he would have pissed off the other guys. They're like, there's no way Tyler Hero's going to play over me at Team USA. You know what I mean? And then it would have lit a fire under them, and they would have kept going. Yeah, I mean, it's like when...
It sounds absolutely preposterous. I understand that. What I'm going to say sounds preposterous. But you should have to earn your way onto the team.
Yeah.
You really should. That's how it works in international soccer. Mm-hmm. You don't give a damn how good a guy is or what his contract is at PSG, how much they're paying him. We don't care. Like if you don't fit into our team, you're out. Like we're not going to play you. We want you to care about being here and we want to be good. And God damn it, dude. I'm so watching USA lose to Nigeria. I've never felt like older in my life because I was just yelling at the TV like everything. I feel like I'm 30 years too young to be yelling while I'm watching sports.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh,
I mean, Gabe Vincent hit 6 threes in this game, by the way. I mean, 6 of 8. I mean, he was great. If you're a Miami Heat fan, this was a great night for you. And that was the other part of this whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, an American team was celebrating a Nigerian team beating Team USA. That's why it's all convoluted, and that's why I think, the long-term plan of let's just run these guys in and have Brad Stevens coach a bunch of 18 to 22-year-olds that aren't already on a team in the NBA. Maybe we have more fun that way.
How do we feel about Mike Brown coaching Nigeria?
I love it.
And Rick Pitino was coaching Greece, and Cal, remember, coached the Dominican Republic
to recruit Cal.
to recruit Carl Towns. He kicked Charlie Villanueva, an NBA vet, off the team to put a 15-year-old on his team.
So good.
I was when I was watching Euro, I was thinking about this. Is it Euro? The Euro? What do we call it? I guess I never think about it.
I think it's just the Euro. I think it's the Euro final because it's the Euro final.
The Euro, whatever.
Who cares?
The soccer fans are going to be upset with me. I know I said it wrong, but
just say football and you'll be fine.
Who's the guy?
Think that you're...
The coach of Belgium, Roberto Martinez, I think is his name.
I think so. Yeah. I love Belgium.
He's not Belgian.
No.
And as I was watching that, the thought came into my brain of like, and of course Jurgen Klinsmann is German. He coached America soccer team, and I started thinking, I was like, is this does this make sense? Should we have this? Should we have guys from not that country coach? Like if the whole idea is like we're playing for the love of this country, the loyalty to this country, our beloved.
Turns out we're not. Yeah.
You know, doesn't that take a little sting away? The like.
Yeah.
I don't. Does Mike Brown have ties to Nigeria? I don't. I assume
I believe
he
he does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, if he does, then that makes more sense. You know.
I mean, I don't think obviously he grew up in America and is American, but I
well,
think.
Well, no, I'm not. I don't mean to be gatekeeping, saying like a guy is not Nigerian enough to be. That's not what I mean to be saying. I just mean in general because I noticed it happened at soccer a ton, where it's just like the coaches are mercenaries and you just like hire.
Yes.
You just get a German dude to come to America and pretend like he cares. Although Klinsmann, bad example, I guess he spent a lot of time in America, but you understand what I'm saying. You understand where I'm going with this.
Well,
and I don't know. I was just I like Bob Bradley. I remember coached Egypt in soccer. He coached the Egyptian national team, and I remember thinking that was weird. I was like, dude, there's no way Bob Bradley cares about Egypt. There's no way. But I don't know. I was thinking about that when Mike Brown was. But maybe he's. I don't know.
No, I mean, I think this is the year of LeBron's former coaches letting everyone know that they actually were good coaches. You know, Ty Lue was the best coach, in my opinion, in the entire playoffs. The adjustments that he made, the way he was able to get that Clippers team to galvanize around each other. And, you know, if Kawhi's healthy, who knows where we are? They could be in the NBA Finals right now. And then Mike Brown, right? A guy that's been laughed at, made fun of. You know, I think my least favorite thing that happens, on the internet is when people bring up the LeBron James, 2007. You know, it's like he took this team to the finals. And I'm like, I always feel horrible for those other guys. You know, like my goodness. And they're like, with this idiot coach with Mike Brown, you're like, man, Mike Brown is a good basketball coach, always has been. So then he gets this moment in the sun. I thought that was great. But you mentioned Rick Pitino, and I think we have to talk about this because Rick Pitino is done with the Greek team. He cut ties. Over? Yeah, he cut ties. So he coached, for whatever, the qualifying, and that was a favor for the owner of, the team that he coached in Greece, and is obviously apparently one of the most corrupt owners in all of sports, which is saying something. And Rick Pitino coaches Greece. He tried to recruit Giannis to basically throw the NBA playoff, like as a joke, obviously, but he was like, if we had Giannis,
we'd be... As a joke.
As a joke. He tried to get Giannis to come play with him, but then as soon as they were done in his press conference, of course, journalist, someone there was like, what is the future of the Greek national team? He basically said that they don't have the proper schooling and teaching for youth basketball in Greece. That's why they haven't been able to compete. Like, he basically just...
Shit on the country?
Shits on the programs. Like how he was like, we need more Papagiannis's, and you're not going to get those guys with the way they're teaching the game at the youth level here and the lack of dedication. Like, just says all this, like, great, fully vintage Rick Pitino. And then he ends it by saying that he's done and that he will not be coaching Greece anymore. And basically, good luck, farewell. I bid you a good day to the Greek national team. And as I saw the whole thing play out, I said to myself, this is really good for Iona. This is, if you ever thought that Iona had a chance to make a Final Four run, now is the time to cash in on that futures bet because Rick Pitino, he has no time for a second. Because when he took the job at first, I was like, oh, this is interesting, but I guess he just wants to coach Giannis, or at least try to attempt to coach Giannis, maybe in the future. But no, this was a one and done type deal. He did it as a favor. And then when he got done, he made all of the excuses. He took full responsibility and then made all the excuses as to why they were not good enough. And then said, peace, I'm out, I'm done. And I was like, man, that was great.
He said it's not about the X's and O's, it's about the Jimmys and Antetokounmpos.
Yes, seriously. That's exactly what he said. He's like, I really couldn't even get Thanasis. He was like, you can't convince Thanasis to come play with us.
Dude, Pitino's next move for national teams, he should do. He should try to create the sequel to Cool Runnings, and just like move to Jamaica or something. Like move to the Bahamas. Move to the Bahamas. Some Caribbean. Some
DeAndre Ayton. That's the play.
Boom, done.
Yeah.
Do that. Well, but that's not as good of an underdog story. Like Jamaica, I can't think of any Jamaican basketball players. Like Rick Pitino is. the coach of Jamaica, and he just is like on the beach at all times and is trying to teach basketball.
Bay, just drinking Mai Tais.
Trying to compile a basketball team, but like every time he gets a good athlete and he thinks he's got him, they just go sprint. They just like Usain Bolt comes in and is like, no, I'm going to turn you into a sprinter and make millions of dollars. He's like, damn it. There's another one.
I think Rick Pitino, here's the hottest take of the day. I think Rick Pitino is a better coach than Greg Popovich. Like if I were Team USA, I would say we would be in better hands if Rick Pitino was coaching.
I agree with you. I'll jump on that. I'll co-sign that. I agree with you because Rick Pitino will, pardon my French, for lack of a better term, there's no other way to say it. And if you played basketball, you know that there's really no other way to say this. He would the guys.
Yes.
He would. And he does that when he doesn't care who he's coaching. That's why he didn't work in the NBA. It's like he doesn't mess around, dude. Like that the way he coaches would be perfect, and it's exactly what that team needs. It's exactly what Team USA needs. Is someone to look Kevin Durant in the eye and just be like, I do not care how good you think you are. Get your ass back on defense.
Yeah.
Stick a goddamn hand up on a shooter. Like what are we doing?
Or I'm pulling you for the rest of the game.
And I'm playing Dakota Mathias.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got to sit here as Kevin Durant, one of the 10 best players of all time, and watch Dakota Mathias take your minutes.
Yeah.
And Durant's like, damn, all right.
Yeah, he's like, all right, man, I kind of respect that. I mean, and I saw Bradley Beal, he did this nice thing about Popovich. He was like, he's like the coolest coach, he can turn it on and, get you straight, but he also is like your friend over there. And look, those are all good things. But I think Greg Popovich is also a diva, you know what I mean? So like he's turned into a diva a little bit of himself, over the years with all the media gassing him and telling him how great he is and asking him what wine he drank the night before. He needs somebody to like.
We spent a half an hour on an exhibition basketball game.
I hope this motivates Team USA to prove us wrong. You know what I mean? This is what this is about. We're trying to fire them up.
This is the most old man Kornheiser Wilbon just yelling at the clouds we've ever done. I think, but
hey, I loved every minute of it. I love every minute. I'm still hurt by the loss, by the way.
But I'm with you. Like I don't know. I harken back to the time when I was younger, and there was not a cooler thing than the Olympics rolling around and watching the. I was old enough. I remember the Dream Team. I remember watching the Dream Team in '92. You weren't born yet, but
no.
I do remember watching. I was very young, but I remember thinking like this is the coolest thing ever. And that was the first Olympics I remember. So I didn't appreciate the fact that like the pros were coming together, like my dad did. That it was a big deal to him. But I do remember like looking at the roster and be like, oh my god, all these guys are going to play together. This is going to be amazing. And I've fallen in love with it, just like a lot of people in this country. And I just I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to contrast like watching the European Football Championship, and then like contrasting watching all those fans go nuts and then watching like kind of this country's attitude towards international basketball.
Yeah, we're very tepid. We
and I don't want that to be the case.
Yeah.
But losing to Nigeria is not going to help. That's not the way to go about it.
I mean, my first Olympic experience was Sydney in 2000 that I remember vividly. 96, I was like 3 years old. But 2000, when Vince Carter jumped over a man and Kevin Garnett lost his mind. I mean, you talk about a team that will get you fired up. And obviously 04 was... 04 had all of 9/11 that was still, like they had to stay on a boat when they were in Athens. So like, it was like a lot of like things that are outside of basketball that were going on. So like, it was almost a little bit of a pass. And then 08, 12, 16, we know what happens. It's all good and dandy. So this is the first like crux of what do we do here? What does this look like in the future? Grant Hill has a lot of, things to figure out. And all I want is somebody on this Team USA team to take it personally. And I think it might be Dame Lillard. It might be Kevin Durant. But I want one of them to just go to Tokyo and say, those two idiots that were yelling at the clouds, shut up. You know what I mean? You don't know about USA basketball. And I hope that happens.
Dame, come on the podcast. We'll discuss.
Please.
I will lay out all of my solutions to fix this, which include kicking you off the team. Tate, you made a good point at the top that I had thought of as I was watching the Bucks take Game 3. Not just take Game 3. I mean, they seem to. If that was the first time, if that was the first NBA game you watched this season, you'd be like, wow, the Milwaukee Bucks are by far the best team in the NBA, which is kind of the point we're going to talk about here. You mentioned it earlier. The bubble last year kind of ruined us and how we watch playoff series and try to make sense of the rhythms and the beats of the idea that a playoff series never starts until the road team wins. That has been thrown out the window thanks to the Mickey Mouse bubble last year. And I think everyone forgot that. And the Phoenix Suns go up 2-0, which is exactly what they were supposed to do. They defended home court, and they didn't even defend it like they look great doing it. I'm not taking away like the fact that they look like a very good basketball team doing it. They deserve all the praise. It wasn't like they won game 1 and 2 by 30, you know? Like there were competitive basketball games. The second game, I would argue, like the Bucks might have walked away from game 2 feeling decent about it because Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday played like ass.
And the Suns shot 50% from 3 in game 2. I mean, if you look at the stat sheets, if you look at the box score after the game and you're the Bucks, you can say, hey, we didn't get blown out, and they also played pretty much the best that they can play. So, okay.
Yeah, and I guess that was just what was going through my head as I was watching Game 3 as the Bucks dominated. Kind of, I mean, like game 3 to me was the more definitive win of the 3 games. That was the most definitive win. Now it was only worth 1, and the series is 2-1. That's how, you know, for those that aren't keeping track, the Suns still lead the series.
Yes.
But it is. I found myself thinking like the bubble definitely ruined us because we're all very impatient. We just wanted to clear series over, and maybe we shouldn't do that because this is setting up to be a pretty awesome NBA Finals. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think you know, in the bubble, you know, there was obviously no difference between game 1 and game 3. And, you know, the Bucks should have all taught us a lesson with the Nets series because after game 2, they get blown out by like 40 points or whatever it was. They were dead to rights. I mean, so much so that, you know, Jay Williams goes on ESPN and tells the story that Kevin Durant said, don't ever compare me to Giannis Antetokounmpo. People were comparing Giannis to Ben Simmons. They were saying they're basically one and the same. You know, that's where we were in the ridiculous world of media narratives, right? That the Bucks were done. They should blow it up. The Drew Holiday trade was wrong. Giannis can't be the number 1 guy on a championship team. They go on to win that series in 6 games. So, you know, and Giannis after the game last night, you know, he said what you want to hear if you're a Bucks fan, which is like in every series, he says game 1 has been rough for us. But again, they're traveling from Atlanta. They went to Milwaukee for one day, then they go to Phoenix. So you kind of guess that you're going to lose game 1. If you really had to chalk it up, you would say to yourself, we're probably going to lose game 1. So game 2 is really the game that you kind of go for. They're up in the first quarter in that game. And then, of course, you know, Suns get hot. They end up winning that one. It's all good. Like you said, Holiday, Middleton played terrible. But the biggest story, I think, so far in the series is the 5 position for the Suns. I mean, DeAndre Ayton has Frank Kaminsky playing behind him, right? I mean, that is everything to me. And when you look at the Bucks, they have, you know, Giannis is going to play the 5, as we've seen. He's going to match up with Ayton. You got Brook Lopez, who I guess we've all forgotten is an all-star. I mean, or at least can be an all-star, has all-star talent, even though he can be clumsy and spastic at times. He's still, you know, a superstar in this league, or can be a superstar in moments. And then you have 2 other actual all-stars in Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton. And early in this game, Drew Holiday hits a 3. You know, that was the first shot that the Bucks made in this game, and that's the sign that says, hey, all signs are pointing up. And then I saw after the game, you know, Monty Williams gives his post game. He's talking about Ayton. He says, you know, we got one of our guys, or he says that one of their guys had 17 free throws, and I think they as a team had 18 free throws. So, but at the end of the day, Giannis really wasn't the one that got Ayton in foul trouble. Like, if you watch the game, Ayton, the worst foul that he had was like a minute into the third quarter, and Chris Paul gets the ball stolen from him, and then Ayton has a stupid foul, and then he gets taken out of the game. And also, he didn't foul out of the game. So it was a conscious decision to pull him from the game, which is, I mean, that's what happens in basketball. Obviously, we got to protect the guy. But if you're going to get knocked, if the game is going to be over by the time you're going to put Ayton back into the game, then maybe we should have just risked it. But they have the recipe, they have the formula, whatever you want to say, the Bucks do right now, which is, hey, we can go big on these guys. You know, we can go at Ayton. And we're going to force the Suns to either put Frank Kaminsky at the 5 and extend Ayton in those minutes, and we can potentially get him in foul trouble. And so I left game 3, like you said. I think it was the most definitive win because you see a path for the Milwaukee Bucks. And after the first 2 games, yes, the Suns won those games. Yes, the Suns were the better team. But I still thought that we had as they say, like there was a lot more series ahead, and Game 3 showed us a lot. And Giannis Antetokounmpo is unbelievable. I mean, seriously, like when we joked about like what the NBA would want, I said he's international Jordan. Like
he's so likable, isn't he?
I mean, he's like the most likable athlete we have going right now. I feel like because I mean, I don't even know. I mean, obviously his story plays a huge part in this. I mean, the guy was selling purses on the streets at one point in his life with his family, and they were homeless. So, I mean, that's incredible to be where he is. But, like, the way that he plays the game and the way that he approaches the game and the way that he deals with losses and the way that he bounces back from losses, the way that he's fine to airball a free throw and laugh at himself.
He's self-deprecating.
My
Not
goodness.
just about that, just about, I saw a clip of him practice talking with PJ Tucker. You know what I'm talking about? I forget what he said.
He's
but
like, I've airballed free throws. He's like, basically, I've seen the bottom of the bottom, so all I can do is go up from here.
He kind of jacked Michael Jordan's quote of like, I've missed 1,000 shots, so that's why I get, whatever Jordan's quote was. But that's okay because he did it with a big smile and an infectious attitude, and we're like, yeah, Giannis is the best. He's so fun to cheer for.
Exactly.
And Monty Williams, I mean, he has to say that. Like,
of course,
that's part of what the coach has to say. He has to bitch about the refs, and that's part of the game. We know that, but it is funny that he was. If you take it at face value and pretend that he's actually really upset, it is hilarious that he's complaining about the officiated when if you looked at Phoenix's scouting report, if someone just went to the locker room and like grabbed a scouting report, I bet like 5 pages are like foul the shit out of Giannis.
Send it to the free throw line.
That's like the biggest strategy. It's like a big bold letters on every page. And he's like, I don't understand how this is happening. What is going on here?
Yeah, I mean,
why are the refs calling fouls?
He made 13 out of 17, right? So like if Giannis does that, then you're really in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
It's not a hack and shack, even though he is. My favorite storyline we have going right now of the bigs is that DeAndre Ayton and Giannis Antetokounmpo are both like, who is the next Shaq? You know what I mean? Like they're like, it's like DeAndre Ayton has something, and then they're like, this is the first time that someone's had 20 and 19 since Shaq, and then Giannis was the first person to have 40 and 10 in back-to-back finals games since Shaq. So I don't know who is Shaq in this series, but if you're Shaq and you're watching, you're like, this is awesome. Like the bigs are back, baby, and it's all coming back to me.
I just realized like everyone says that Devin Booker is the next Kobe just because of his relationship with Kobe, and he had the 70-point game. And kind of the way he plays, obviously. If he's the next Kobe, if he's Kobe and DeAndre Ayton is Shaq, there's how much money? God, dude, I want nothing more now than someone to ask Chris Paul if that makes him Derek Fisher. Like say it with a straight face, just be like, as the Derek Fisher role in this team, Chris, just see what he does.
I think he would. Remember when LeBron like grabbed his bag with his sunglasses on and just walked out? I think that's what Chris does.
I thought about this too because as you brought up Frank Kaminsky, I don't know why I haven't made this connection, and apologies if every single person on earth has made this connection because I promise I haven't seen this or thought about it at all until it just hit me. That Frank Kaminsky's playing back in Wisconsin, Tate.
Yes, he is. Yep.
This has been brought up, I assume.
I mean, I haven't seen many NBA
Are we worried
media.
about like this is where my mind goes because like if I was playing for the Clippers and we're playing the Pacers in the finals, I don't know. There's some small part of me. I'm playing back in Indiana. I know he's from Chicago. Kaminsky's from Chicago. He's not from Milwaukee, but it's close enough. He went to Wisconsin. He's a god in Wisconsin. And for the Badgers at least. Marquette fans could do without him, but makes you think.
No, he wore red shoes, I think, in Game 3, and I think a lot of people were saying that it was a homage to the Wisconsin fans that would be in the building. I mean, look, I'll just say this. It was great. Frank Kaminsky playing in the finals, right? If you make a guy a top 10 pick, the old adage is that he could be one of the 5 guys on the floor. Two teams, 2 starting 5s. He could be one of the 5 on the floor in the NBA finals, right? So when the Hornets took him 9th, using that old adage in my mind, I'm saying Frank Kaminsky will never, ever be one of the 5 players in the NBA Finals. What are we doing, Michael Jordan? And it's yet again, Michael Jordan was right. I had no idea. He was right. He knew it. He knew he could play in the finals. So that's why I'm happy.
Is Jordan a better GM than LeBron?
I think
What's
so.
the consensus on that?
I mean,
They're both
rookie
terrible,
of the year,
aren't they?
Frank Kaminsky in the finals. Yeah. I don't know. I think LeBron right now is a little shook, and I'm scared it's going to come down to Space Jam. You know, as we've joked about multiple times, I think the final GOAT debate will be who is the better actor and who sold the most money at the box office between Space Jam and Space Jam 2, and that'll be our final answer. Then we'll all know. Yeah.
Who's the? It's God, dude. Space Jam 2 is. I'm so mad, but also as the date draws near, I realize I'm probably going to theater on Friday to watch it, and I hate myself for it.
Yeah,
I hate myself for it, but
I mean, look, Bugs Bunny. As you know, I mean, I'm
doing it for Bugs. Is that your stance?
Of course. I like Bugs Bunny is my favorite person, character, whatever you want to call him, in the entire existence of the universe. So I am going for Bugs, no doubt. The actual GOAT. That's who I'm going for.
Yeah. Make no mistake about this. I do not support LeBron James in any way, shape, or form.
I'm here for, you know why I'm here as I walk in.
you know They have a scene in the movie. Bugs Bunny crosses up the Monstars and hits a 3, and then turns to the camera and says, "I'm him." And Tate's like fist bumping in the theater.
There was a clip that came out, like half the movie they've shown on Instagram already, but there was a clip that they put out, and they go into DC universe, right? Because the whole movie they go through the different.
Oh
Warner
yeah,
Brothers
that's
properties.
right. It's like Ready Player One with LeBron. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So they get in the DC universe, and Bugs is Batman, and LeBron is Robin, and I was literally thinking to myself, God, Bugs does not miss. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you put him in. He doesn't miss.
Who's Bugs' agent? Dude,
I don't know.
Guy,
he's a genius.
Absolute genius. What were we talking? How did we get on that? Oh, we were talking about LeBron and Jordan as GMs.
Yeah.
Who's the GOAT of like Hall of Fame players? Who's the GOAT? Is it Jerry West? I guess would that be the answer?
Probably Jerry West.
Pat Riley, was he a Hall of Fame player? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
I don't think he got to that level, huh?
What about Joe Dumars? He's got to be up there.
Okay.
Yeah, that might be the one because I mean the Pistons were every single year Eastern Conference Finals. Obviously won a championship, so he's got to be in the mix.
Yeah. I don't know.
Danny Ainge not in the mix for me.
I don't know. What a stupid question. Why did I bring that up? I don't know. I was just thinking
no, it's a good thought. I think America would say Jerry West.
Could we talk about the Cam Johnson dunk a little bit? Because I know you do want to talk about this.
Oh, man.
This was this reminded me of the importance of watching sports live. Why watching sports live is so important, because if you did not watch this live, it takes a little bit away from it. Like the surprise factor of seeing Cam Johnson just bring the ball up the floor, and even as he was going up for a dunk, in the back of my mind, I'm like, something's gonna happen and he's gonna mess this up. But I love that he's trying this. Yeah. And then he yammed all over PJ Tucker, and I was like, damn, it sucks that that's a charge, because that was an amazing dunk. And then it was not a charge. And I was like, what the hell just happened? It blew my mind. And I just, like, my mind immediately went to, like, I'm glad I was watching this live, because if your buddy texts you this, like, did you see this dunk? You're already primed for it. You already kind of know what's coming. Yeah. And then you watch the highlight, and you're like, yeah, that was pretty good. That wasn't, you know. But to watch that live, dude, to watch that, like, just come out of nowhere like that. And I know Cam Johnson can get up. I know he's dunked on people before. He dunked on Anthony Davis. Like, it's not, like, that part of it wasn't a shock. It was just that, like, I didn't think that's where he was going with that. I thought he was just kind of like dribbled up.
He literally climbed the ladder. I mean, you know, to use the Tom Chambers term, because I mean that's what it felt like. It felt like the Tom Chambers dunk that we've seen a million times. And the worst part about the dunk, at least in my opinion, was I thought it elicited more of a reaction. But the problem, as we all know, is that Mark Jackson was the man that Tom Chambers dunked on. So Mark Jackson was, you know, he could have made that comparison. He could have said, "Mama, there goes that man." He could have gone. I mean, he did have a reaction, obviously, because how could you not? But at that moment in time, I was like, how did he not say Tom Chambers? But then I was like, oh my God, this is the man that got dunked on by Tom Chambers. Of course, he doesn't want to bring up that moment. And it's fair to Cam. Like, I think it's better not to bring up Tom Chambers, because that's that dilutes a little bit of, you know, the 23, the North Carolina connection. He probably wants to be compared to Michael Jordan and not Tom Chambers. I would assume that's what he was looking for there. But, you know, PJ Tucker, as you know, I love PJ Tucker from Raleigh, North Carolina. But to have a guy that we have stolen from the state of Pennsylvania and we've turned him into a Tar Heel, and then to see him dunk on a guy who left our state to go to Texas, it was very, like, I don't know who I'm pulling for here, but there's a lot of North Carolina ties in this moment. And Cam Johnson just solidified the fact that he's a Tar Heel forever. Get the Pitt stuff out of here. I
No,
don't
that's
wanna
not
hear
true.
it.
No, hold on. Did you see Kevin Stallings tweeted the highlight and said, "Proud of you, CJ"?
He did?
No, I'm kidding. He did in my brain. In my dreams, he did.
think about like I think about just Kevin Stallings trying to block this guy from going to Carolina. You know what I mean? Like that is his legacy with Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson will always think, man, my coach who I played for at Pittsburgh tried to keep me from going to North Carolina actively, even though I'd already graduated. I was,
I picture Kevin Stallings on a beach somewhere, like kind of a. What beach would he be on? Like somewhere in like Panama City, Florida, or something. Like that's the beach Kevin Stallings is on. He's got one of those sunbathing the deals where like the it looks like the thing you'd have to put up on your desk so people you couldn't cheat in class. Like
Yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about? It's reflective and you hold it up and it like gets more sun on your face.
Yes.
And he's just sitting there and he's knocked out and he's sunbathing. And then one of his cronies comes up and taps him on the shoulder like it's George Bush on 9/11 reading to the kids. And like whispers in his ear and he peeps down his sunglasses and looks at him and he goes, "He did what?" And he puts the sunglasses back up and then drinks like that's how I picture Kevin Stallings.
Yes.
Heard about Cam Johnson in this moment and time that he had, and then he's like, "I don't care," and he pretends like he didn't care.
Yes, I think the joke is that you always go to Cancun when you lose, and I think like Kevin Stallings actually is in Cancun.
Kevin Stallings has a ponytail in Cancun, and he's selling jet skis on the beach.
Yes, facts.
There's jet ski rentals.
Jet skis.
And he's got like a henna tattoo that like goes away, but every time it starts to go away, he gets it done again. And he never actually, he doesn't have the balls to get the permanent tattoo. He just keeps getting the same henna over and over and over.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out and say he has dreadlocks, and it's very offensive.
He's got beads in his hair.
Everyone's like, "Oh no, coach."
He's got the Chet Hanks Jamaican accent.
Seriously.
You're like, what is going on?
He's speaking patois to the people. And you're like, "Sir, you're in Mexico." Oh man, I miss Kevin Stallings, man.
I miss him so much,
time.
man.
Bring him back.
The man looked at his player laying on the floor, and he said, "I'll kill you." Kill you.
Yeah, literally. And that's not even like a hyperbole. That was literally what happened in a moment.
God bless him. Any other NBA Finals thoughts? I mean, just Cam Johnson in general. I don't know if we've talked about when he was drafted. Like, have you done that? Have we revisited that he was mocked, he was belittled, he was laughed at? He's having a great series. He's having a great playoffs. He's having a great career. He's going to be great in the NBA, as it turns out.
I mean, the craziest part about all that was when he was taken 11th. Yes, it was high, but it was kind of what we were talking about with Wieskamp. Like you see that he's 6'7", 6'8" on a good day. He's long. The biggest knock that they had on Cam Johnson was like he has bad hips. He's not that great. But like if you watch him dunk over PJ Tucker, I think his hips are all right. I think the Suns have done a really good job with helping him get there. And then to go back to the DeAndre Ayton foul trouble point, DeAndre Ayton had that stupid foul on Chris Paul, or after the Chris Paul steal. He comes out of the game for guess who? Cam Johnson, who comes in like on a 10-0 run by himself and gets the game to a 4-point game. So like when DeAndre Ayton came out of the game for foul trouble, Cam Johnson goes on this magnificent run, and obviously it tapered off from there. So I'm happy for Cam. I'm waiting for Mikal Bridges to kind of lock back in. I think he's the one guy they really need for the Suns to figure it out a little bit. But, I mean, if you had told me that Cam Johnson would have a more promising NBA arc than Kobe White, however many 2 years into their careers, I would have been very confused because of what Cam Johnson got drafted into. I mean, when you think about Phoenix that he got drafted into, there was no one that was saying, watch out for the Suns in a couple years. They were saying, DeAndre Ayton sucks. They should have taken Luka. And that Devin Booker is a good stats, bad team guy. These are the things that were being said about the Suns. So Cam Johnson didn't walk into some great situation. So I'm just happy for him. I saw his music teacher like commented on the dunk like on SportsCenter and was like, Cam was in my music class. He was like one of the best students, and I'm so happy for him. It's like it has all good faith coming his way, so to speak. So it's all good for Cam.
All right. Well, there
I'm
you go.
happy for him. I don't really have any more thoughts other than I think the Bucks are the favorites in my mind, and I'm sure I'll probably eat those words. But I've never deviated from that. Even after the first 2 games, I was like, I still think it's Bucks.
Before Game 1, Nets Bucks, I said the winner of the series will win the title, and I'm sticking with it. I'm riding that. I'm going down with the ship.
But I will say, what happens? What is the fallout with the Phoenix Suns if they do not win the title? Because they do think that they kind of how Barkley in '93, he kept saying that they were the team of destiny, and Michael Jordan took that personally because he was like, "You have no destiny.
Yeah.
I am the chosen one.
I'm inevitable."
Yes, and that's Giannis feels a little inevitable, but the Suns feel like the team of destiny. I don't know who wins in this narrative bullshit, but I do think. What
happens when destiny meets inevitability?
I don't know, but I think that the Suns have a very, very tough offseason if they do not win. I really
think
do.
Suns in 4 guys, the first cut you have to make. I think fire him. I think get him out of your face.
Yeah.
The other guy, the guy who very obviously went to Grand Canyon University and wears the shooter sleeve.
Yes.
Like, oh my God! I don't even care where that guy went to college.
He's hilarious.
He went to Grand Canyon in my mind. He could have gone. He could have gone to Ohio State. I wouldn't believe you. He went to Grand Canyon University. You know exactly what I'm talking about too.
Yeah.
That's so weird. The weirdest part about the Suns fans. And they've gotten a lot of people have talked about the Suns fans these entire playoffs.
People are mean. People are mean to the Suns fans.
But the weirdest part to me is that there are these individual characters that stick out to you. It's not like the Suns fans as a whole. It's like you keep showing like the same people over and over and over, and weirdly, I don't know. It feels like you know exactly what I'm talking about. I said the guy that went to Grand Canyon with the shooter sleeve. You know exactly who I'm talking about.
The guy who was floating as they were reviving in Game 2, and they're shooting all of the Phoenix crowd like on a 4K red camera. Like they're so perfectly shot and like focused in on that. I think it's also jarring. Like my mom, when we were watching the game at the beach, she's like, they don't even look like real people. You know what I mean? Like
they got like Hans Zimmer to come in and like do the score as they're shooting these guys. You're like, what is happening?
Yeah. Seriously. I mean, that's what it looks like. It really does. And Deakins is the DP for the whole thing. You're like Richard Deakins. I don't know.
Oh man. All right, and let's wrap this up. Shoutouts, closeouts. Do you have anybody you want to shout out?
I just want to shout out Bojangles in the great state of North Carolina. It's one of those things, Titus, where whenever I would finish a game in high school, we'd all go to Bojangles and eat, kind of like, talk about, like, if we were Team USA, like Nigeria had just upset us, and we were all just kind of like decompressing and at Bojangles. So when I was back home, I had so much Bojangles, and like, it still hits, and that was just like the main shout out. And obviously shout out to my family, shout out to all the people I saw when I was back home. It was great to be back in North Carolina. I got to be in my hometown, got to be down at the beach at Ocean Isle Beach. It was a great time. So I am sad that it's over, but I'm smiling because it happened. You know what I mean? And I don't even know if I can say that anymore. I think Dr. Seuss got canceled, but I had an amazing time back home, and it was great to be back in North Carolina. So.
Getting that hometown air in your lungs will do something to you, man.
It was beautiful.
I think that's what Team USA might need. Add that to my list of fixes. I think after every game,
send them home.
They should, everyone go back to your individual home. Sleep in your mother's basement and report back to us. No, they should get in someone's uncle's pickup truck and ride in the back and go to like Bojangles or Wendy's or Chick-fil-A or something and get a very cheap meal and all sit there in the same table, like crowded up, like you used to do at AAU.
That happened in 2008. Remember, there's a picture of the Banana Boat crew and Dwight Howard, who I guess got cut out of the Banana Boat crew, but they're all eating at Wendy's.
You know what I mean? Yes,
you're right.
That's what they need. What happened in 2008, Tate? What happened? We were back.
Gold, son.
Gold. The Redeem Team. You ever heard of them?
Yeah.
Oh. That's
Take
awesome.
that.
Did you does North Carolina, where you're from, your hometown, do you have to worry about hurricanes? What's the situation there?
Yeah, so I was at the beach when Elsa. So my niece is a huge fan, obviously, as any niece of that age is a fan of Elsa and Frozen. So she
you
wears.
Can't do that. You can't name the hurricane after like what are you doing?
Right. Yeah, and so when I was at the beach, it was only for one day, but we had like 45, 50 mile per hour winds, and I was upstairs at our house, and so I thought that it was over. I thought that the house was going to get blown down. I thought that I was going to have to text our whole crew and say, this is the end, so to speak. I ran downstairs early in the morning. Everyone's already awake, and I'm like, should we get out of here? Like, should we get in the car and go? And my whole entire family is just like, drinking coffee, eating breakfast, like laughing at me. My niece is watching Frozen, like celebrating Elsa while we're in the storm. The storm passed; it was all fine, but it was hilarious. Like, and then they're laughing. They're like, "Don't you have earthquakes? Like, when'd you turn into such a wimp? Like, we've stayed here through Hurricane Fran, Hurricane whatever." And I was like, "All right, I guess I am." I guess I'm California soft.
It is wild how every place in this country, and it might be the world, but I haven't really traveled the world, Tate. I've only traveled throughout this country. Every place in this country has one natural disaster, natural phenomenon that
tornadoes,
happens,
hurricanes, earthquakes.
Does not phase the locals in the slightest.
Yes,
does not, like, because where I'm from, I'm not from like Tornado Alley, but the Midwest we get plenty of tornadoes.
Yep.
Tornado watch, you don't even flinch. Tornado warning, you actually like go outside to try to find it.
Yeah, you're looking for it.
There's a tornado spot in our county.
Photo cloud.
Every guy I know from where I'm from is like runs to the back porch, the front porch, whatever, tries to find it. Is like, damn, that's sick. And then as you see it coming at you, then you maybe consider going to the basement, and then and only then. And but at the same time, all of those people, if they were in California and they felt an earthquake, would crap their pants.
Absolutely.
And people from California don't even flinch at earthquakes. Yeah. And the idea of tornadoes is an absolute nightmare to them.
Well,
it's hilarious.
I lost like having the hurricane, that kind of outlook on it, and now I'm bad on both sides. You know what I mean? The earthquakes scare the hell out of me out here, and I also.
So what are you good about? Like
nothing.
The fire? What about the fires like that we get in LA sometimes?
I'm terrified of fires too. I have nothing.
We gotta find Tate something. We gotta find something that you're not.
I mean, I do love the movie Twister, so like maybe tornadoes, but
lightning. Will you golf in a thunderstorm?
Yeah, I will, because Retief Goosen famously was struck by lightning twice playing golf and became Retief Goosen. So I still believe that there's something to do with that. So yes, maybe it's lightning, thunderstorms.
Ben Franklin invented electricity.
Yeah, I think lightning's good. Yeah, lightning's good. Tampa Bay Lightning won Stanley Cup. You know what I mean? All right, I'm Team Lightning.
This is so stupid. I want to shout out God's Plan 2.0. As it turns out, Tate, this might UCLA is in great position. I'm not one for gossip. I'm not one for. I don't know. I don't read the tabloids, so I don't want to get too into the weeds with this thing. But I was connecting the dots on what's to come. I hope
you're going to talk about what I think.
I'm going to talk about what you think I'm going to talk about.
All right, good.
And it hit me that this is unbelievable. For like UCLA is more backed than we even realized, and we are the two people on earth that think UCLA is backed the most. That Drake is dating apparently the mother of Amari Bailey.
Yes.
Who is UCLA's best recruit? Like the best recruit? Is it where we call him the number one recruit?
I think he's the number one recruit as soon as he comes on this podcast. Yes. So right now he's just the top recruit, but once he comes on the show, he'll be
committed to UCLA.
Recruit.
Goes to Sierra Canyon.
Yes. Plays with Bronny James at Sierra Canyon.
And like this story in a vacuum, I don't want to care about it because it's just like a flash in the pan deal. But then I'm forecasting. Next year, like if this relationship sticks, Tate, Drake and the Pavilion Club at UCLA games sitting courtside as we're there, and I just like walk up to him and I'm like, God's plan, and he's like, yes, you get it, dude. And it might be happening.
And luckily, we have the Kerry Champion connection. So I think if we walk up with him with Kerry Champion, I think we have a much better chance of him actually entertaining the fact that we're going to talk to them. Dude. He'll probably think that we're like high schoolers in LA, that he like wants to buy his album. So he'll probably take a picture with us. So there's a really good shot. I think you're really onto something. The best part about all of it was about 3-4 weeks ago, Sierra Canyon's last game. Drake went to the game with Michael B. Jordan and LeBron, obviously, because LeBron goes to all the games with Savannah. And Drake was sitting next to Amari's mom. And everyone on the internet, like you said, they were like, wow, Drake's trying to smash, Drake's trying to smash, Drake's trying to smash. And the people at the time were like, no way. that's not possible. But we all know Drake. You know, Drake's motto is "Do right and kill everything." You know, that's what Drake stands for. It's an acronym. And by kill everything, he means literally try to have sex with every woman that is around him. And when I saw, it was like someone sent me like the Shade Room. You know what I mean? And I saw the Shade Room post of him eating dinner at Dodger Stadium with Amari Bailey's mom. I fell on the floor because, like, Drake is high comedy to me. Like, I've always found him hilarious in the way that he acts. His antics are hilarious. I enjoy the music, but I enjoy Drake.
Sometimes he's funny on purpose too. You know, he's got a decent sense of humor. Yeah.
Like, remember the SVs, Will Ferrell? He did a bunch of funny stuff. But the fact that he knew, first off, he knew that would get captured, and the second part of that is the fact that, like, he did it anyway. I feel bad for Amari Bailey, but I'm sure he's okay with it. No, I'm going to
stop you there because
you think he's okay with it.
I want to bring up this point that I've seen people say that they're like, man, that must suck to be Amari Bailey. And I would say, listen, again, like, I don't want to get too far to the weeds here. I don't know anything about his relationship with his mother, what his mother is up to, whatever. I would just say, in general,
we respect all of them. Yeah.
Less about Amari Bailey, more about just like any kid out there. If you had to watch your mom date somebody, Drake's not a bad, like, you know, it harkens on a joke that Dave Chappelle had. I think about the joke Dave Chappelle had about Monica Lewinsky, and he asked the crowd, is there anyone that you women regret? Or do you feel bad for her? And then he said, come on, you have to feel, I guarantee all of you regret one, you know the joke I'm talking about.
Yeah, of course.
That's what I feel, where he's basically like, listen, if your mom has to date somebody, why not, Drake's not beats the hell out of like some, Jim Cunningham type,
I know. I mean, like, that's a great positive way to spin it. And I think at the end of the day, Amari Bailey is by far the best player on Sierra Canyon. Yeah. He's a 5-star recruit, will be a star at UCLA if all things continue on the trajectory that it is. So he's going to be okay. And if people are making jokes about your mom in the NBA and a few years down the road, if you're him, you're just like, yeah, and guess what? Me and Drake are best friends. Like, you wish you knew Drake. Yes. You know, like, shut up.
Yeah. Shut up.
Yeah, shut up, man.
Shut up. You're being real mean, man.
Yeah. Seriously. I mean, it's better than Delonte West, right? You know what I mean? Like, that's... Oh, never mind. Take that back.
My final shout out. I want to shout out Mike Schuszewski, who I think we've taken for granted. Us as basketball fans in the basketball community.
I'm standing up, clapping right now.
A man who won 3 gold medals for these United States.
Yes.
I know he's not your favorite, Tate. I understand that. I understand the Duke-Carolina rivalry. We have to put that aside. The only shade of blue that matters to me is the red, white, and blue, Tate.
Yes.
And this man won 3 gold medals for us, and I think you have to tip your cap to him. And this is going to be his final season as the head coach of Duke, and I think we all just need to not take him for granted and appreciate him while he's here. So
I cannot agree with that more. And I will say I love the Team USA. The jerseys this year are all blue. I think that was a nice tip of the cap to say we are blue bloods. Even though we have not played like blue bloods, we know that we are inherently blue bloods, and that's all thanks to Coach K. So thank you, Coach K.
Thank you, Coach K. Hashtag thank you, Coach K. Let's get it trending right now. Is that it? Is that all we got?
I think that's all I got.
All right. We'll see you guys on Friday.
Oh, yeah. We should point out Friday's show, we have a potential tentative special guest that will be in studio with us. We will both be back in studio. Yep. And that will be the first time in quite some time. So if you do not watch us on the Fox Sports YouTube page, it is Titus and Tate. Go subscribe. Go look at us. Go make fun of. We don't care. Just go subscribe, and then from there we'll have a great time. But Thursday show, we may
honestly,
have
even
a
if you
guest.
just click it and play the video and don't watch it, that's fine too.
That's
that helps
fine.
us. It all goes to the same place.
That's what my family does. I had so many people in my family say, "Look, I don't know what you guys talk about. I just click play and then it's on mute." I'm like, beautiful. Love you guys. You're the best. Family first. God's plan, baby.
See you guys.